banned in over 37 countries, condemned by the Catholic Church, the Motion Picture Association of America, and the League of Women Voters. Vincent Dansbury of Horror Film Review says, "My God, what is this? It will give Freddy Krueger nightmares. It will make Jason Voorhees afraid to go into the woods. It will make Jaws afraid to go into the water. Your eyeballs will bleed. Your brain will vomit in terror. Nothing can prepare you for the unspeakable, unimaginable horror that is the Matinee Prices Halloween Spectacular. You have been warned."
What was that?
I don't know.
My eyeballs can't be vomiting anything. I wear a prescription.
I think we might have overdid it with the voiceover.
Just a scotch.
Like,
just a little bit.
a little bit.
This is with the Catholic Church?
I
Dude.
I got ahead of myself.
My dog's mom is Catholic.
I thought this was going to be a lot scarier than it obviously is going to be.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's not going to be that scary.
But,
Matinee Prices.
but you know, hey, the show must go on, right?
We're not that scary.
It's,
Maybe looking. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
but not on Halloween. All the other 364 days of the year.
I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, that was his idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no part of that.
Man.
That was some white people stuff right there.
Yeah, I gotta quit eating hot dogs at midnight.
Turn into a gremlin.
Yeah.
What happens if you feed Cameron the hot dogs at midnight? He turns into
He starts
Cameron.
talking some mad, crazy nonsense.
Your eyeballs start vomiting and stuff, which is that would be an interesting visual for a movie.
But none of that's gonna happen here.
No.
This but
Next time.
perhaps season 3. Stay tuned. This is our Halloween episode.
Halloween.
By the time this airs, it will be very close to Halloween, and
Scary kids.
yeah, and you know, we both really love horror movies.
I don't love them.
I love horror movies.
Just him.
I grew up watching horror movies. I was the kid who would like go to the video store and like rent Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and hide it under my bed so my mom didn't see it and watch it when she went to bed, and then I wouldn't be able to sleep for 3 days.
I was the kid who tried to watch The Howling when it aired on TV.
Edited for television?
So like super chopped up.
Yeah.
And I hid under my bed for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I slept on a mattress.
Yeah, and it's not like
So there was no under my bed.
It's not like I was so brave that these movies didn't affect me. It was like I enjoyed being scared, like because I would watch a horror movie and I would be terrified for the next few days, and then I would be like, "Oh, there's a part 2? I need to see that." You know, it was like there was just something. So
we're stupid. We're here at Matinee Prices, which you already knew.
Yeah.
And we're doing Halloween.
we're doing our Halloween spectacular.
So how are we kicking it off?
And, well, I feel like we can't have a Halloween episode without talking about Halloween,
Halloween.
the movie.
Halloween.
Now, we can't just sit here and review John Carpenter's Halloween.
We got 7 minutes.
Everybody's seen it. And most people at this point have seen Rob Zombie's version. So, we're not going to sit here and say which is better. Obviously, John Carpenter's version is better. But that's not to take away...
We're not going to say which one is better, but the original was better.
But the original was better.
Right.
But that's not to take away from Rob Zombie's version. His was really great and really creepy. We've got the boxes for each one on display here. And so basically what we wanted to do is say 5 different reasons why each one is awesome.
Okay.
And they're both good for different reasons, which is how we're going to frame this.
Frame away.
The original. 5 reasons why John Carpenter's original Halloween is amazing. The first reason, John Carpenter.
Who?
John Carpenter.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
When you're talking about John Carpenter, you're talking about Halloween, obviously, The Thing, and Escape from New York, and Big Trouble in Little China.
I also saw The Thing on TV, super edited, and I had just come out from hiding under my bed from The Howling, went right back under. That's when I decided to actually get an actual bed with a frame so I could get under it.
Get under it?
Because those mattresses are, you can't breathe under one of those things.
John Carpenter is an amazing director, and if one guy had directed any one of the 4 movies I just mentioned, you'd be like, all right, he's earned his place in the history of the pantheon of awesomeness. And he directed all 4 of those movies, and they're all just amazing. So, reason number 1, John Carpenter. Reason number 2, the cast. Jamie Lee Curtis in her basically breakout debut role. PJ Soles, who, if you don't know that name right off the top of your head, she was Riff Randall in Rock and Roll High School.
Okay.
So
say that again.
Riff Randall in Rock and Roll High School.
What's her name? PJ Souls?
PJ Souls. And the fantastic Donald Pleasance, who is playing the iconic Dr. Loomis. Number 3, the music. John Carpenter's opening theme, I would say it's right up there with the music from Star Wars or Jaws.
It's
you hear that
of all, yeah, I was gonna say of all
that.
the big major. Let's put it this way: you know the music from Halloween. You know, sing the music from any of the Friday the 13th or any of the Freddy Kruegers.
You can't.
Or any of the what's the other? Oh, Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah,
you can't.
But
this one, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those movies where the score is like basically another character in the movie. Like the villain has his own musical accompaniment, basically.
Like Peter and the Wolf.
And exactly.
With just a lot more blood.
Exactly. When you hear that music, it's like the cello in Jaws. Whenever you hear that, you immediately get on edge because you know some stuff's about to go down.
All right. What else you got?
Number 4, it really helped kickstart the new genre of 80s horror film.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the first slasher film. I mean, you could go back to the 60s with Peeping Tom and Psycho.
Yeah. And Black Christmas.
And Black Christmas.
But that one was sort of was like, all right, they made that, we're doing this.
Exactly.
Hollywood was like, we're going all in on this. Yeah. The stuff that we just named, Freddy and Jason and all of those guys, Candyman, whatever.
They all had to come from somewhere.
Leprechaun.
And I would say another thing, again, not the first example, but I think Halloween might be like the reason we have the term final girl.
Oh, right.
From a movie.
Yeah.
Like, again, not the first one, but like Jamie Lee Curtis kind of played the iconic character of the girl who is just
the survivor.
Yeah, and she's just an average girl. She's just a regular teenage girl, and but she manages to make it. Hope I didn't ruin the ending for you, but if you haven't seen Halloween at this point, yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis lives, but you should know that because she also stars in part 2, so come on. Number 5, similar to number 4, is that it introduced the world to Michael Myers.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're iconic horror characters that you can get from one image, with Jason, the hockey mask, Freddy, the glove, and the fedora. You know, Michael Myers, you see that Shatner mask, because it was William Shatner's face mask with spray paint. That was but
that's
you see that.
Such a compliment and such a pimp slap at the same time.
Exactly.
And only William Shatner would be like, cool.
I'm honored by this homage.
How many people did my face kill? Like, a lot, William, a lot.
Now, he would have probably been like, you're paying me, right? Because in 1979 or 80, he was probably like, throw me a few bucks. Roger Corman ain't calling anymore.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the 5 reasons why the original is a fantastic movie and deserves its place in, I mean, you're talking great horror films.
You
put the original Halloween with Dracula or Frankenstein or The Shining or any of the great horror, and it was a no budget slasher film that a guy made in like a few weeks.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the original. Now we're going to talk about the remake. Rob Zombie remade Halloween in 2007, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why that movie is also really freaking good and worth a look.
Really good.
1, Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie is one thing to like make a horror film, but Rob Zombie is one of these guys who he was a kid when these people were making their horror films.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about like a guy who, like, John Carpenter had to create this stuff because there was no like influence really for him.
Right.
You know, maybe Psycho and stuff.
Right.
But Rob Zombie grew up studying movies by John Carpenter and Wes Craven and Don Coscarelli and all these great filmmakers, and it shows in his work. And more than a remake, it's like a remake, but it's also like an homage to like a specific genre.
He's got his PhD masters in this genre, and he also would marry it if he could.
If he could.
Yeah, that's how he's
Yeah.
like he's totally qualified,
Yeah.
and the love is there.
And he would. Rob Zombie was the type who would be like, society be damned, I'm marrying an abstract concept.
Yep. He would do it.
So Rob Zombie, love him or hate him, I know he's a polarizing figure and not everybody loves his movies, but House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, and the 2 Halloween movies he's made, like, the dude is a really good filmmaker and he has a great eye and appreciation for horror.
What's next?
What's next? Much like the original, another thing that makes the remake great is the cast. The cast of the remake, it's Malcolm McDowell, Tyler Mane, if not a big star, but he played Sabretooth in the original X-Men.
Speed it up.
And William Forsythe, Udo Kier.
Too many people.
I'm blanking on this. Brad Dourif, Wormtongue from the Lord of the Rings movies.
There you go.
Yeah. Number 3. So number 2 is the cast. Great cast. Fantastic. Number 3 is something that's completely unique to the remake, because if you're going to remake a movie, you're either going to do like a shot-by-shot remake and just tell the exact same story, but if you're going to do it, you have to put your own spin on it. You have to put your own twist on it. And what Rob Zombie did was he basically gave you a new beginning. He gave you Michael Myers back, like he let you spend 20 minutes with Michael Myers as a child.
This is where that love part comes in. Like,
Exactly.
he's a kid, he grew up dreaming about this stuff and imagining it. So on the remake, he was like, I've got pre-Michael Myers. When
Exactly.
he was a kid, before he ever picked up a kitchen knife, before he ever stabbed anybody, I know how we got to the adult Michael Myers with the mask.
And they gloss over it in the original with a little flashback of him killing his sister, but in the remake, you see him like being bullied at school. You see him getting hauled into the principal's office, and you see him make his first kill as a child. And the kid that plays young Michael Myers is 10 levels of creepy. You know, he's like the
13.
Yeah, he's like the long-haired little weirdo who lives in a trailer with his mom and her, drunken boyfriend who smacks him around. Like,
you do not let your kids play with this kid. You do not let your husband play with this kid.
No, because he will stab you.
Or that there's other versions
Exactly.
of that. But yeah, either way.
No
adults, no kids.
Number 4, this is something, again, that's specific to the remake. Number 4 is just riddled with cameos.
Oh yeah.
And this is just a few of the cameos. You got Danny Trejo.
That was Trejo.
You got Machete. You got Clint Howard.
Nice.
In here, obviously. You've got Udo Kier, who played Dracula in Andy Warhol's Dracula. He was also the head vampire in Blade, like the head of the council, the older guy.
Yep.
You got Sybil Danning. You've got Sid Haig from Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses.
I caught a case of Sid Haig once. I want to go to the doctor's, get an ointment. He's like, you got Sig Hagius. I'm like, what the heck is Sig Hagius?
It's penicillin. We'll
Yeah.
clear that right up.
All right. Well, it took more than penicillin, but it did clear up.
Dee Wallace, who we talked about in The Frighteners.
Yep.
Dee Wallace is she's the mom in horror movies. She's the Meredith Baxter Birney of horror films.
Yes,
you're gonna if you need a mom for your horror movie, if you can't get Dee Wallace,
then you just kill someone in the first 5 minutes.
exactly. Or just say, screw it, I'm not making the movie.
I'm not making a movie.
It's like, Dee Wallace won't return our calls. All right, well, we'll just find something else. We're gonna build a theme park. All right, and last but not least on the cameos, all these other ones kind of make sense because they're famous for being in horror movies and slasher films. Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees is in the remake of...
He took that last train to Clarksville, wound up in a horror film.
And wound up hanging out with Rob Zombie somehow. But you got Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. And so, the cameos, fantastic. Number 5, again, something that's a little more specific to the remake than the original. It's gory. It is so gory and bloody, and like you have to look at some stuff. In John Carpenter's, there's some gore and there's some killing and there's some bloodshed, but John Carpenter, I feel like, implied a less is more thing. I feel like Rob Zombie's
does not do
raison d'etre is
more is more.
More is not enough.
More must be more, and then put more on top of that.
Exactly. Oh, and I meant to say this earlier. I wanted to say another reason. Number 4, Danielle Harris, who played the little girl in the original Halloween series in parts 4 and 5. Mm-hmm. She's the main girl's best friend in the remake.
Oh, okay.
So you've got a connection to the original series with him casting Danielle Harris, and she looks amazing because you do the math and you're like, well, she's got to be in her late 20s or early 30s when this was made, and she looks like she's about 16. And I've always been a big fan of Danielle Harris. She played Bruce Willis's daughter in The Last Boy Scout. She was the crazy neighbor on Roseanne that was always trying to get Becky and Darlene in trouble. Danielle Harris, she was the little girl in Halloween 4 and 5. She's in the remake, so there's love and affection all over this movie. But going back to number 5, gore. Gore. This movie's gory. Rob Zombie is a master of gore. He's never gonna shy away from, like I said, more is more. Like
gore,
buckets of blood. It's he's from the Herschel Gordon Lewis, Dario Argento way of thinking. You can't have enough fake blood and severed limbs.
They got one of those tanker trucks with
just full of blood.
With blood.
Yeah.
Not real blood, of course.
Well,
legally.
We're gonna legally we have to say it's not real blood, but you never know.
Legally, they have to say.
You never know.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. Both versions of Halloween, very similar, obviously, but they're different enough to where you can love it. Donald Pleasance played Dr. Loomis one way. Malcolm McDowell played the same character in a completely different way. It's fantastic, and I feel like the idea of casting an actual giant to play Michael Myers added another level to it, because I feel like it makes him more supernatural. Tyler Mane was like 6'8" or something. So it's, I think that adds another level to it, and another reason why it makes it unique. So there you go. The original, the remake, whatever your bag is. If you have, for some reason, like I'm not going to see the remake because the original is a classic, check it out, because it's really good. It's a lot better than a lot of the critics said it was, and I enjoyed it. I own it, as you can see right here. I bought the movie. It's fantastic.
He stole this one.
Check it out. I bought it. Alright, so there you go. So that's right. Halloween. 2 great movies. Baxter is reacting to something that Michael Myers is clearly in the parking lot right now, and Baxter is trying to warn us. Baxter, good job, buddy. You're not ruining the show at all with your barking. You're doing good. You're doing really good right now, bud.
Baxter's the best part of the show.
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
So, end of the show. We'll see you next time. We'll actually see you pretty quick.
We have another segment.
We have another segment?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing 10-minute increments.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes left.
It was 8:34 when we started.
I thought it was 8:32.
Well, it was 32. Then
okay, we're gonna breeze through this.
Why don't you just make it another thing?
We can't. Shut up.
Okay.
We'll edit.
Edit.
Closing out part 1 of our Halloween themed episode is 8 other great, awesome movies that are Halloween themes. So this segment is called Greats. GR, the letter 8S.
We'll flash that over our faces.
Isn't that clever?
Yeah.
Number 1, Ginger Snaps, directed by John Fawcett with Catherine Isabelle and Mimi Rogers. Canadian horror film about werewolves. It's awesome. Number 2, Night of the Demons, classic, low budget, 80s craziness. It's a camp classic, directed by Kevin Tenney. Number 3, Idle Hands. Underrated horror comedy, Seth Green, Devon Sawa, Vivica A. Fox. This movie is awesome. And the guy who Rodman Flender, the guy who directed Idle Hands, went on to direct for television. He never really did any more movies, but he went on to direct for Scream, the series, The Office, 10 Things I Hate About You, the show, Ugly Betty, Tales from the Crypt, and Millennium. So this guy is like a fantastic director. Number 4, The Crow, directed by Alex Proyas, who also did Dark City and I, Robot. The Crow, if you haven't seen it in a long time, that movie holds up. It's amazing. Brandon Lee, God bless his soul, Bruce Lee's son, it was taken away too soon by a freak accident. The Crow is fantastic. Beautiful, neo-noir, great soundtrack. You got stuff like Ministry and 9 Inch Nails. It's a dark, crazy, awesome movie. Number 5, May, directed by Lucky McKee, who also made The Woods with Patricia Clarkson and Bruce Campbell. That's another great movie. It's basically just a movie about a weird girl who wants a friend, and it is really creepy. It's another one that I feel like has gained cult classic status. Anna Faris has a small part in it. Really good. Lady in White, directed by Frank LaLoggia. It stars a very young Lucas Haas and Catherine Helmond from Who's the Boss. It's got a real British feel to it. It's like a kind of a classic, it's like an elegant horror film about a little girl who gets killed and then someone's trying to solve the mystery like years later. Really good. Dark Night of the Scarecrow, directed by Frank De Felitta, who wrote the book and the screenplay for Audrey Rose. It's a made-for-TV movie from the 80s about a kind of a simpleton, a slow-witted guy who was killed for something he didn't do, and he comes back as a scarecrow to exact revenge. It's got Charles Durning is also in that movie. And Silver Bullet, one of the better, I mean, there are a lot of amazing Stephen King adaptations. Silver Bullet is right up there with some of the best. Stars Corey Haim and Gary Busey, which is just the most bizarre casting you could ever hope for. Most werewolf movies aren't good. It's a genre that's never really been done all that well. There's some great ones like The Howling and American Werewolf and Dog Soldiers. Silver Bullet deserves to be on that list. It's an amazing movie. It's legitimately scary. Rated R, very gory, amazing cinematography, based on a Stephen King novel. And the guy, and I want to do, much like the guy who did Idle Hands, this guy, Daniel Atias, went on to direct for television. And this is just a snippet of this guy's credits. Like, they were miles long. Miami Vice, Northern Exposure, The Sopranos, The Wire, Buffy, Lost, 21 Jump Street, Deadwood, True Blood, 90210, and True Detective. Like, again, one of those guys who didn't really make it as a filmmaker, went to television and, just kicked ass on the screen. So, there you go. So, for this Halloween, we recommend the original Halloween or the remake. I also recommend that Baxter Stop Barking, which would be fantastic, and the sequel, Baxter Please Shut the Hell Up. And we just gave you 8 amazing Halloween-themed horror movies. They're either set in and around Halloween, or they have a Halloween backstory, or part of it's at Halloween. But these are all fantastic movies. I'm sure I gave you I'm sure a lot of those movies you've seen before. Maybe some of them you haven't seen in a while. Maybe some of them you've never seen. Maybe some of them you never heard of. I guarantee you've never seen Dark Night of the Scarecrow. It was a made-for-TV movie that was released on VHS and Beta back in the 80s.
Beta.
Yeah, there you go. But, and I have, and I'll go ahead and say, I have never seen Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. I found it during research. But one thing about this show is we want it to be interactive with our audience. If there's someone out there who has seen Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, if you have it on VHS, if you have it on DVD, if you recorded it off of television when it aired in the mid 80s, give us a shout. I would love to see this movie. So there you go.
I'm looking for some gummy bears. If you got gummy bears,
Send Huru gummy bears.
give a shout.
Yeah, because gummy bears are basically Huru's version of Scooby Snacks.
Yeah. Scooby Snacks.
Yeah, you thought I was gonna say like heroin or something.
I did actually. That was very nice.
I almost did.
Wait, way to PG that up.
I almost said heroin.
Good job. Classic way for not saying heroin.
PCP gummy bears.
Gummy bears.
Yo, man, you got them gummy bears.
So we did not mention heroin at all.
Exactly.
In this, we said gummy bears.
Exactly.
We didn't say heroin.
Gummy bears.
Yeah, not heroin.
Now I think we just started a new street word for like this is gonna be on us 20 years from now when people, yo, can I get some of them G bears?
Well, they already use gummy bears and they inject them.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know that.
So we're late.
All right. Well, we're late to the party. All right, we're gonna wrap up. I want to say one thing before we wrap up. Also, come back next week. This is a two-parter. Like basically every episode we do, it's a two-parter because we talk a lot. We have a lot we want to get through. Come back next week for part 2. But right now, I want to take this moment to say, in all seriousness, be safe on Halloween. Watch yourself. If you're drinking a lot, don't drive. If you're walking home, don't stumble into the street. If you're sober and you are driving, just keep your eyes open. There's a lot of people wearing dark costumes, and they might be hammered, and you might accidentally end up running over somebody. So, in all seriousness, we love our fans. We don't want them to die because if they're dead, they can't watch our show anymore. And
we don't really have fans.
we have our fan. He's out there somewhere.
But we don't want the other people out there to run over our one fan.
Exactly.
So we want
whoever he or she may be.
So
keep
everybody
it safe.
Be careful and don't hit our fan.
Keep it safe. Be careful. Have fun. Dress up. Don't be that jerk who's like, that's for. Find something to wear. Go out and have fun. If you are one of those people who likes to just stay home and watch horror movies, go get yourself a bag of candy. If you got some trick-or-treaters, you don't want to be the one jerk who's home on Halloween and a bunch of kids knock on your door and you have to see the disappointment in their faces when you tell them you don't have any candy. Because I actually had to do that one year, and I felt so horrible because it was these 3 little girls with their parents, and they were dressed as like Cinderella and Pocahontas and everything, and I had to tell them like, oh no, I don't have any candy, later. You know, and it was just like, but I'd never make that mistake again. So if you're going to stay in, get some candy. If you're going to go out, be safe. Be careful. There's nothing more fun than not dying.
Unless you can do it in a really cool way and come back like the Crow. But you don't know you're going to do that. So just play it safe.
Play it safe and just be careful.
Yeah.
All right. Good night. Keep watching movies. Keep watching scary movies.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, I'll see you.
It's the Baxter Show.
It's the Baxter Show.